Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Kat of Catalyst Holistic Life Coaching, bringing your life in alignment with you. I'm here today to do your weekly guidance reading for this week of February 17th through the 23rd. We've had a lot of shifting energy into really starting to kind of pull back and start to dive into the depths a little bit more, and that's coming even more forward this week. Monday we had Mercury begin to retrograde through the sign of Pisces, and then we also moved into the sun sign of Pisces yesterday. So we're really kind of slowing down even more. Like we started to feel that pull to kind of go deeper into our more spiritual selves, because our Pisces is like the last sign of the zodiac, so it's really that full like depths of the spirit, of the mystery. And so with Mercury going retrograde, Mercury is all about our communication and our thoughts. And so we could be working to really heal how we kind of communicate with ourselves, with our spiritual selves, or even just connecting more with spirit, however that manifests for you. And so we could still be feeling a lot of that drawn back energy. I was trying to kind of tune more into that, hence why this reading is a little late this week, but I was trying to kind of pull back into okay, we're about to shift into, let's not try to push so much for these new things, but really just tune in to what's already there for ourselves, which is a very different energy for me. So if you may be feeling that, you might resonate with that. This week I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot. We have an animal. Oh, these two cards stuck together. Ha! I love when that happens. So we've got a couple animal spirit guides, a crystal energy, how we can tap into our light, and a wild offering. So this is just a general reading for the overall collective. So it may or may not resonate with you, but just be open to your own interpretation. You could see different imagery or have something come up for you. This is also timeless, so this could be something that is just planting a seed, or it could already be manifesting for you in this present time. All right, let's get into it. So we'll start with the first card. I feel like we had this last week. We had the Devil. So the Devil, it can be looked at as a negative card for obvious reasons, which in the traditional tarot, it's pictured as two people are kind of chained to this devil, but they don't realize that the key is within reach, the key to their freedom, but they're just so blinded to their environment because of they're kind of addicted to this thing that's chaining them down. So the devil can manifest as different forms of addiction, even as simple as being a workaholic or different things like that. So how are you being called to kind of tune in, and what are you being kind of tied down to at this point in time? What's coming up for you? Like, these are also patterns that are not necessarily healthy, whether it's with people or, eating habits, negative self-talk. This can just be kind of that ambition to start to change things a little bit and begin to move forward. Okay, some super similar. I feel like these cards were so similar like just a week or two ago. So then we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse. So this is normally about kind of trying to keep secrets, trying to hide. So some of you could really be, hiding something about yourself from the world, or this is a secret that is being revealed to you from this experience of your addictions could really be coming forward and manifesting in some sort of negative way. And so this is kind of revealing to you some maybe negative thought patterns that you didn't realize were putting you in this cycle. And so now they're actually starting to become clear. This is kind of like self-deception, or really just being manipulative, trying to really control the situation, which can also be an addiction to control. Maybe you think if you have everything in order, everything lined up, that you somehow have control over your life, and it doesn't really work that way. It's kind of a learning process of there's always this illusion that we have some sort of control over all the things that are happening around us, and sometimes we don't, but we do have the control of how we react to them, how we control our thoughts and interact. So you could be getting called to get out of these thought cycles that have been present in your life. Because I feel like this is kind of tapping into that Pisces energy. We have the 9 of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like this is literally like a lot of the same cards from the other week, which is really strange. That I think they're in a different order. I'll have to look back and see, because this is really interesting. But with the 9 of Cups in the reverse, this can also be like a sign of overindulgence, because this is normally like a card of bliss and harmony and just tranquility, because this is waters that are really undisturbed and everything is balanced. And so you could be kind of overindulging in those things, maybe those fantasies, and not really tapping into reality. You're kind of doing a form of escapism, this self-deception. And that is also, exactly what Pisces can sometimes be about. On the flip side is they're about illusion, like they are like the moon energy. They are, they like to kind of live in the dreamland and the very spiritual, and sometimes they lose themselves and aren't as grounded. And so you could be, over these next 2 weeks is how long we are in Mercury retrograde. I think we go out on March 10th. And so for this next month and during most of this period for Mercury retrograde, these indulgences can start to really come forward and just show you like how you're not progressing forward, how it's really just kind of keeping you stuck in this place. Like it's keeping you really hidden from something that is going to be benefiting you, because we want to become aware of these things and no longer be deceptive to ourselves, because we do want to find that peace and tranquility, and we may think that we have it by keeping hold of these things that make us feel good, but really it's just kind of numbing us, because this is the pattern. And it can be so small, but anything that is keeping you from feeling everything, like just being in that all love and light energy, because this is the shadow. This is your shadow self coming forward, and shadows are not something to be frowned upon about ourselves. They're an integral part of integrating into our full embodied self, because if we start to neglect this one aspect of ourselves, then we're really not whole. We're just kind of this fragmented being. And if you really want to find that bliss, you have to stop numbing yourself down and allow all the feelings to come forward, allow all of it to come out. And it may come out negatively, but you have to, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, and just allowance, I think, is a lot of what's coming forward. And this could maybe be something that you're maybe spending a little alone time with. This is a really good period for introspection and journaling, and especially since Mercury is retrograde, it's not a good time to try to communicate these things to others. It's a lot of time to go inward. So if you're experiencing, if you notice already what these indulgences might be, just try, even just for a little bit over the next couple weeks, see what it's like to slowly start to cut those things out and see the difference that you feel and what actually comes up. What are you stifling down with these emotions? Because our water element, the cups, are emotions. So what are we kind of burying down just to not disturb the waters around us? What are we doing to try to keep the peace? And this can be with people around us. We could be in an environment where we don't feel safe, so we're just kind of keeping ourselves in this thought process, in this numbing sensation, so that we don't really express our fire and don't want to come forward because we're afraid of what we don't know what's going to happen. But just tuning inwards for the next little bit and actually allowing these energies to come forward for you can be really empowering, and you don't have to have action right now. Mercury retrograde isn't about action. Pisces isn't always all about action. It's about that deep spiritual connection to the self. So that is the kind of restful energy I'm getting again. Okay, so moving into our animal guides, we have the Grasshopper Spirit, taking a leap of faith. So it's actually, when it's in the reverse, this is called the protection in the animal spirit. So I see this, there's the 4-leaf clovers too, and with St. Patrick's Day coming up, I feel like this is, really saying, don't be too overzealous to just jump into something. Like, you definitely want to take this leap into something new. Like, you want to work through these patterns and go into something else, but you don't want to be too hasty. Like, I think there's this pause and this tuning inwards, and then when you feel called to taking that leap into something else, and just it is with it in protection. This isn't saying like don't take that leap, but just being aware of where this is going to take you and when it's going to be the right time, instead of being really hasty with your movement and trying to make things change, because that can also be a little form of numbing, is not really actually sitting with it and just trying to change back and forth and back and forth, and instead just kind of slow down. And then when it becomes a little more clear and the sign comes forward, that lucky symbol is ready, then take that leap. Then don't be afraid to move forward. Okay, so the animal totem that was stuck to that is our Swan Spirit. Time to take a deep dive. So she's also in protection. So the deep dive has to do with really like going into the depths again, this kind of like shadow self, a lot of this diving, leaping imagery, water, shadow, all these sorts of things. So with it in the protection, this can again warn of the avoidance of not really going too deeply into this. And I feel like I want to read a little bit from the booklet about it, because I feel like there's a little more to say on that. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. There we go. So the protection message: don't talk yourself into diving deep into something just because you see the potential of things instead of what they really are now. The necessary work and patience involved may not be the best use of your energy. Have you seen the potential in someone and think that if you love and support them, they will become the person who knows you love them beyond all others? Have you stepped into an opportunity that you know feels too good to be true and might not turn out the way you hope? Now is not a time for selective, limited perception that can lead to misjudgment. Instead, this is a time for going deep and being honest about what you find as you explore the depths. Have no fear, for whatever you find below will help you love and understand yourself and others and make better choices. Can you sense Swan Spirits calling you deep dive to resurface and choose again? So, yeah, so for some of you, I feel like this is, there could be like an illusion of certain relationships, certain people that are not really serving your highest good, and so you're really actually being called to, again, not really jump into something that doesn't feel right. There could be a change that's coming your way, and you were wanting to kind of take this leap, and you were feeling that kind of uncertainty whether this was doing the right thing. So it's okay to take that pause and dive into the depths for a little bit before making that decision. Like, we all think we don't have enough time, but really when it comes to this kind of work, like we have all the time in the world, and just remembering that you have, you're not trying to do this for anybody else but yourself. Okay, so moving on to a crystal energy that can assist us this week. So we have black coral, the light in the darkness. So yeah, this is really grounding, like earth, Muladhara colors. So really getting that stability, that security in yourself, making yourself feel safe and building on a foundation before taking this leap into something new, like diving into those depths. And I find it funny that it's also coral and it's talking about light in the darkness, like going again into the depths, this watery, like deep sea depths. And black coral is actually really rare nowadays. So again, like taking that time to really like get to the bottom of things. I feel like some of you may be working through some deep-seated like childhood things, or something to do with like root chakra energies, things that have to do with financial security, feeling safe, childhood traumas that can, manifest as either like sexual or just abuse in general. Grounding, because this is the energy that kind of works against Muladhara is fear. So these things that we're fearing, maybe taking a look at. Maybe we're not wanting to take this leap into these kind of darker things of our past because we are worried about what we're going to find there. But this is that light, this is that freedom that's really going to actually set you free. So don't be afraid to just keep going down and down and down. And you can kind of always remember that you can resurface at any time. Like I was saying with the Swan card, if you need to do meditations, like finding a safe place before you do these sorts of things, or even working with someone who does those kind of things, holding a safe space for you, now is probably a good time to do something like that, or with someone that you trust to create these energies. So yeah, we're getting into it. Okay, so now moving into the work your light energy, we have the play card. So have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So this is going to kind of help counteract when we do have those heavy energies come up. We don't want this to all be just focused on our, how do I put this? We don't want to just be so caught up in all these emotions and these things that are coming up. Like we want to do things that help release that energy. So keep your movement going, keep going out and, celebrate in some way. Again, try not to overindulge in something, but, going dancing or going out for a walk under moonlight or going to something with friends. Even though there is like a glass of champagne here, since there is a lot of this deeper processing, I wouldn't recommend indulging in a lot of alcohol at this time, because I feel like that's, again, just more of this kind of numbing stuff. So maybe just over the next little bit as you're working through this, like find something that's more playful and lighthearted and isn't going to like bog those energies back down, because we want them to keep coming up. We don't want to just, have this tug of war going back and forth while we're trying to process. Okay. And then 2 cards that we have for our affirmations or little things that you can offer to the divine to connect. The first card we have is health, and then we have body. So for health, it says, allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body, no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best that it can. Help me be a loving ally and friend to this sacred form. And then for the body, show me, divine, how to love and fully care for this body. Please give me the radiant miracle of accepting my body as it is. So yeah, a lot of you are working through there could be maybe some of you that have some sort of addictions to like imagery, how you think you are supposed to be. You're telling yourself these lies of how your life should look, what kind of person you should be. You have been changing things around to suit other people's needs, and so you kind of have this disharmony going on within yourself. And so that's what's really actually calling for you to dive deeply into this, is to find those deep-rooted things of where am I not accepting myself? Where am I not being accepting of where I am, and how can I be more loving? So we're really being called to pay attention to self-love and nourishing the body, and not just, I think with also health, I feel like this is also to do with our mental health, our mental and emotional health, because we do have these swords and cups energy. So you're really wanting to nourish every aspect of yourself. I feel like this is really going to kind of bring the pieces all together as we move through this year. I know 2020 has energetically shifted into a really big, like, powerful year, and to really actually come to a full understanding of ourselves, we have to heal all these different parts of ourselves. It's not just, if I fix this one thing, everything will be fine. Like, there's all these pieces we have to bring together. So making sure you're nourishing every part of yourself, kind of getting all the cups in line, getting your thoughts in order, you know, and ultimately, like, this is really like gentle, loving energy as well. We're not taking a dive into ourselves to be judgmental, because that's where that kind of devil energy comes in again, where we're being our own worst enemy. We're being like the devil's advocate. We don't want to dive into these self-deprecating thoughts. We want to play, we want to enjoy ourselves, we want to nourish ourselves. This is another good, like, symbol of Pisces. It's just that really gentle, like, graceful, just beauty, like divine natural beauty. So finding your own grace with yourself, I think, is also a good message. Finding your love again, your love for life, your love for yourself, you know, and going towards the things that bring you more in alignment with this. Mercury retrograde is a good time to start clearing out instead of adding new things. We want to clear out what isn't working for us so that we can be more refreshed and ready when we do go direct. And it is going to go back into the sign of Aquarius for a little bit. So that'll kind of be looking into our how we interact with the world as well. So retrograding into, once we kind of work more in these like spiritual realms of ourself, we'll be able to bring that gift into the world. How can we find our place in this world to work our medicine even more? Whew. Okay, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I know that was a lot. That was a lot of messages going on, and if you saw something even more, you know, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments, or if you would rather get a personal reading, I do private readings as well, in person, over the phone, video chat, however you would like. I will post photos of these cards so you can look at them. Maybe you can find your own messages within them. Otherwise, I think that is it. That is everything. So again, thank you so much for everyone who watches, everyone who's so encouraging, and I love to hear your experience. So I will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.